All right, Ultimate Hoops Nation. I'm Aaron Rumset. I'm here with Jason Briggs. This is This Week in Rec, Week 5 edition.
5, yes.
So tonight, first game worth talking about. We had the club and the Huskies, and there was a little bit of a rivalry going surrounding that game because Lamont Peoples switched teams. The club ended up winning by, I think, 21. Your thoughts on that game?
The club won or the Huskies won?
No, the club won.
Oh. I would say karma, but it's I bet they were riled up. I was a little bit late coming into the gym, but I heard some things. I'm glad I wasn't here because I don't have Advil with me, anything like that. So I'm sure the noise would have been just awful. I'm a little surprised Lamont moved. I can see why he wanted to move. I was just surprised that in season he would move, especially with him being close with a lot of those guys. I could see him being fed up to the point where he wouldn't sign with them at the start of the season, but moving mid-season, I just didn't see that from him. So I'm not surprised that the club came out and played with some serious intensity because, hey, that's one of their boys leaving, and it happens to be their first game without him is against him. So it's beautiful how things work out.
Yeah, Lamont also got dunked on. Go to uhleft.com. Emily got a sweet picture. The club added Randolph Bryan, who everybody knows can jump out of the gym, and he dunked on Lamont tonight.
No harm in that. Randy could dunk on anyone. So,
second game, we had the Killer Bees and the Celtics. Celtics ended up pulling it out without Marcus Marshall. The game was pretty close up until probably like the last 7 minutes, I'd say. Thoughts on that game?
Not surprising that the Celtics won. I thought it would be a little closer than 13. They're a good team. They can't match up with the size of the Celtics, and if they actually use their size effectively, they're just a really tough team to guard. But typical Celtics cruise control is what Ryan Samerson was telling me after the game. He's like, typical Celtics fashion. All of a sudden we look up and it's a close game with a couple minutes left, and then we turn it on. And they found out last week they can't do that. They got stopped in the first half. When they turned it on, it was a battle, and they almost came back last week. But there's going to be some teams that they cannot just walk through the first half. And I thought the Killer Bees would have been one of them, but maybe they're not there yet. But they're damn close to being up in that upper echelon because they're a solid group of players.
Yep. UANO played the Fab Five. A real close game. UANO was actually up in the fourth quarter. I think they got a 4-point lead, but then the last 3-4 minutes, it seems like unless they're playing the Knights, they have trouble pulling out close games.
And that's the game you got to win too. A close game against Fob, missing Carson Cody
and Izzy.
Izzy. But Carson's a really good player. I'm just kidding, Izzy. But I saw they had 8 guys. Marquardt was here, and I didn't think I'd seen him all season long. He wasn't on the bench.
I think he played last week.
Okay. No, he played us last week.
Yeah.
Or no, we played the Celtics last week. Okay. Well, he didn't play against us, and I hadn't seen him yet this season. Surprised. I don't know. Maybe he's not a great 3-point shooter, but I was surprised he wasn't in at the end of the game for being such a dynamic offensive player. And he's tough to guard.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of game they got to win, and they're right on the cusp too of moving up. Fridley still has just those top couple of teams, but there are a few like the Killer Bees and UANO that are getting close, and I don't know what it is with them. They'll look really good. We don't like playing against them.
They play well together.
They and like someone wrote on the website, and I had a sarcastic response, but they play together for a long time. They have great chemistry. They play basketball the right way. But yeah, they seem to get up for good teams and kind of choke it away at the end. And then they don't always get up for the bad teams or not bad teams, but questionable teams. Because they're more than a couple of plays at the end better than the Knights.
Yep.
They should have beaten you by 10, 12 points. Yeah, you guys aren't a bad team, but they have enough talent to have beaten you by double digits, and they needed some bad turnovers at the end to pull that game out.
Yep.
So they're close. They're very close to being there. And Mark, you may be getting a Facebook message from me eventually. You have no idea who I am, so that's fine. But for Bloomington, because kind of like you on my team. And the lights are out.
All right, on to some NFL draft talk. So Vikings end up trading back to 9. They get a 5th round draft pick, and they grab Anthony Barr. Personally, I don't mind it. I like it.
You've already submitted and talked yourself into it.
I wonder how we're going to use him. I'm hoping we use him something like Eldon Smith, because I don't know if a 6'4", 6'5" linebacker can play outside.
Yeah, Spielman came out and said they see him as a strong side linebacker, and there's been a few big linebackers, but he's a very fast guy, but he's going to beef up, and I think that's just too big to be there. I think they could have traded back quite a ways to get him. Actually, I really think Pittsburgh would have nabbed him at 15, because they've seemed to always have great linebackers, but they lose them because they don't want to pay them. Mm-hmm. So Jason Worlds, they did that transition tag, and they're going to lose him most likely next year because they're not going to pay him. So I think when they drafted Shazier, that it was a sign that Barr may have been gone. So if that's the guy they wanted, then so be it. And maybe they didn't get enough offers to trade back. I am happy that once again we fleeced Cleveland out of a draft pick or two by moving back one spot and letting them take a guy we weren't going to take anyway. That's always great. So clearly Spielman has found his punching bag. Okay. But I think after not taking Manziel, the fans kind of feel like we're the punching bags too. But I'm not a Johnny guy. He's complete boomer bust, and I was kind of talking myself into it because if he's ends up being terrible, that means Spielman's gone. So I could get on board with that because I like shaking things up. But yeah, I'm not sold on him. So
yeah, I was.
Who are you hoping for?
I was kind of doing the same thing with Johnny. I could, talk myself into it because we kind of bring the swag to the game. But I'm hoping we were just looking at the ESPN. We're down to 32. We're hoping we trade back in and grab Bridgewater or Carr.
Yeah, the Texans. I don't think we have to worry about the Texans taking another Carr, but they got the 33rd pick. They're gonna need a quarterback. I think the Raiders are there, the Bucks are there. There are a few teams right before us in the second round that need QBs that they're going to take one. Jacksonville might as well just grab a second one because the way they draft quarterbacks, Henny will be hurt in 2 weeks, Bortles will be hurt a few weeks after that, and then they'll need the second rounder. So who knows if they're going to be there. But I was really hoping for Mosley, to be perfectly honest. Trade back to like 15, 16, 17 and take Mosley. We haven't had a good middle linebacker in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think he's a 4-3 guy, where I'm not convinced Barr's a 4-3 guy.
Well, I think with Barr, I think we're going 3-4 or some type of hybrid because I don't think you can stick. You need to play Barr and Griffin
and Robinson
and I don't think you can do that in the 4-3. So we'll see. So you ready for your 3 questions?
I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1.
Question number 1 is for Marcus Marshall and Hot Tub Tony. Will we see Marcus Marshall again before the playoffs? Multiple sources, and by multiple I just mean Sonny Younggraves, but he plays in 2 leagues, so technically it's 2 players. Yeah, was telling me that Marcus wasn't going to play this season, and Hot Tub was saying that Marcus was going to play this season, and Hot Tub won. But I'm wondering if the Celtics are going to do a legit burn, is what we call it now, for Mike Byrne. And have Marcus actually play a game and then show up to the playoffs. And I know Marcus is coaching now, so that's kind of what's causing some issues. Where Fob 5 was going to try to sneak Byrne in because he signed up for the national tourney and said that's good enough. Let's just add you to the playoff roster and make a total mockery of the system. So, question 1, Marcus, will we see you again before the playoffs?
All right. Question number 2.
Question number 2 is there are a few rumors going around, and as John Price found out, I do like to address them publicly. So we'll just say, not factual information, but the 2 rumors that I heard this week is, number 1, that Knights player Casey Ehrenberg played college ball. Now you have emphatically denied this, but the people I talked to, again, it's not like I'm not hunting. Sources. I'm not hunting for people; they come to me. But the sources said that he's been telling people at pickup ball that he played college. I thought he went to Madison. So that's, I never saw you with Bo Ryan. But I'm just wondering if it was one of those, people brag when they're on the court, or if maybe there's a secret junior college in your past that you're not letting anyone know about.
Wisconsin and Oka Ramsey.
So you were found out, Casey. Just step up.
Just for the record, I got your back, by the way.
Yeah, Aaron was very quick to defend you. And rumor number 2, I heard last night. I got I would say pleasure, but it was not a pleasure, of doing the scoreboard for the Muskies Big Smash game. Which, as Casey said, it was whoever imploded first was going to lose that game, because those are 2 teams that implode. And luckily for Casey, Big Smash imploded. But as I'm watching Xavier Hussein do a great job playing defense and hustling and just making smart plays, I find out at the end of the night that he could have been a Bronco. But
Bad 10 players.
Well, right, yeah, I guess that's the other thing. But I think this was before they had 10 players, but he got vetoed by someone on the Broncos. And I just want to know, if you guys want to come out and say who did it or not, I just want to know if it's true, because you guys missed out on a very good player who really would have helped your team.
Question number 3?
Question number 3 is in response to them's 5-on-4 performance last night. And this is just a question for the forum. What is protocol and for a 5-on-4 game, or if a team only shows up with 4? Now, a lot of times we would just go 4-on-4, or switch to 4-on-4. Them seems to thrive on keeping 5-on-4 and just racking those stats up. And it used to bother me, especially when it was against certain teams, but now I've kind of come full circle and I kind of like it. Not the quest for triple doubles and that kind of stuff, or asking the scoreboard, that's just stupid. But I like the fact that, hey, if they're not going to show up with more than 4 guys, we should just stomp them into the ground. And so there's something, not admirable, but something it's something likable about the fact that they are no mercy. Screw you. We wanted to play 5-on-5. You screwed us out of a good game, and now you're going to eat this 50-point loss. So what do people think about 5-on-4, or when the opposing team only shows up in 4? Is there sportsmanship to worry about, or is it, hey, screw you guys, we have 5, not our fault you didn't?
Or 5-on-4 and person on them is only getting 8 minutes of playing time.
Right, that was going to be the other question, is why do you guys hate Joe Stofler? Joe is and I wrote it on the site. I was really bored, so I was commenting a lot this week. But Joe, I have ranked as the #1 nicest guy in Ultimate Hoops. He's always smiling, always happy. He's a great teammate. He works hard out there. He plays nice physical defense. He's not forcing up shots. But in a game where you're at 5-on-4 and you're just stomping a mud hole in some team's ass, why is Joe playing 8 minutes? That's depressing. And maybe Joe was so classy, he said, this isn't even fun for me. I don't want to play 5-on-4. That could be. But if it's just because Joe's not asking to come into a game, you guys need a GM or a coach or a player to just come in and cycle some guys through, because he's too good to be playing 8 minutes, especially a 5-on-4 game. That's ridiculous. So that's what I got for you.
Final thoughts?
Excited for next week. I think we got the Muskies. I'm not excited for playing against Xavier or Brandon Buschans if he's there, because he's secretly one of the dirtiest boys in the league. Very nice guy, but oh man, he's an underrated cheap shot artist. So if those two, Xavier's not, but those two are not fun to play against, especially since last time I played against Xavier, I made the winning basket for the wrong team, because he bumped me in the back and I tipped it in for the club victory. But I really like playing against Casey, and really like watching Casey and the Muskies lose. So I'm pretty pumped for that game.
Well, that's it. We'll see you guys next week.